Here's how Elsa casts a magic spell in the movie Frozen. And now here's how she does it in the Broadway musical adaptation. Here's how characters in Harry Potter cast spells in the films. And now here's how they do it on stage in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Today I want to go inside the stagecraft of what goes into making these illusions and which I think is the most effective. So in Frozen, Elsa is singing the Act 1 finale, Let It Go, an iconic scene from the movie, the song that has really made the film a phenomenon and started it all. In this production that started on Broadway and has evolved and gone on to tour and go across the world, they use projection, and they do this to literally show you the mystical elements coming out of Elsa. So you see the ice and snow, and she conjures the wind, and it's all around her. And they literally show it to you. It's projected onto the stage floor, it crawls onto the side behind her, all across the proscenium. It is like a very immersive effect, but it's also extremely on the nose, and it's not carbon copies of the spells like the animations that she does in the film, but it's very reminiscent of it. In Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, they don't use projection at all during the magic tricks. There's one instance where they do use a projection to achieve an effect, but other than that, there's no high tech involved. Instead, they rely on light and movement to engage the audience's imagination and evoke feeling. It is very practical, very grounded approach. They're betting on is you, using your imagination and engaging with the show to build an emotional involvement that then translates into a wow effect. Now, this is different than showing you a projection because they're hoping that you will create something in your mind that is 10 times better than any projection could show you. To that end, magic is created and defined in each space differently. So while Frozen feels more computer generated, Harry Potter feels more human. Frozen delivers an immediate, literal representation of Elsa's power, while Harry Potter is far more suggestive and mystical. Now, caveat, neither of these are exclusive. Right before and right after this trick in Frozen, there is a practical effect that happens with Elsa's cape and then dress transformation. And in Harry Potter, there is a big effect that relies on projection, although the way they use projection is far more subtle and mixed with sound and lighting design than it is in Frozen. But of course, Disney is no stranger to an emotional trigger. The Lion King was their first stage endeavor where they trusted Julie Taymor, an avant-garde theater artist from downtown, to make one of the most iconic visuals of all time in the Circle of Life opening sequence, which to this day is seen and recognized around the world. In that scene, puppets are very clearly human-powered and human-centered, presenting the Pride Lands. And 30 years later, the show is literally one of the most successful musicals of all time. Theater's the oldest art form ever. The act of telling a story in a theatrical way is so open to interpretation by both the storyteller and the audience member that it has this unique ability to unite people no matter what story you're telling, because it asks us to come together and experience something and interpret it all differently. We grow up with our imaginations running wild, envisioning the world in grand ways, making things up as we go, reading books and interpreting for ourselves what they look like, what things mean, how things could be in our heads. I think there's a lot of different ways that this manifests, but it's only by having this stimulation from diegetic storytelling. That power of imagination often gets lost in this era where we have such easy access to technology, and it can be tempting to literally demonstrate things in situations where we have the beautiful opportunity to achieve that in other ways. This production places a higher value on you experiencing a live moment, characters moving in choreography with music, light, and costumes, to suggest and embody emotions and visuals that you've already seen. That's what they want. They're not trying to show you less. They're trying to get you to see more. They then slowly demonstrate to you how you can leave what you trust about the films behind and learn to trust in the production to take you on a different kind of magical adventure. And it's not a cop-out. It's not them being cheap. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is the most expensive play ever produced on Broadway, and it's not even close. It cost $68 million to renovate the Lyric Theater and to put on the production. And they have since poured even more money into it by condensing it into 1 3-hour show to make it more digestible to audiences. They want people to see this show at any length necessary. Now, you can watch Frozen, you can watch Let It Go on YouTube, and what Disney does is almost a direct copy of that sequence, and it's burned into our brains, especially those that saw it young or those that have kids, and that's what they're very used to. So on the Broadway musical adaptation, they're trying to catch up to you by showing you a carbon copy of what you know. And you know what? Sometimes that's just what the people want. People love that shit. They love being able to see what they can only see on screen in their living rooms or in the movie theater in 4D, quote unquote, in front of them. And even though it's such a different way of presenting an effect than they do in Illusion with like Harry Potter, Frozen still achieves this sense of like awe and wonder because you're still seeing something that your eye is not used to seeing in 4D space in a presentation. I think when it comes to which you prefer, it's just personal preference. I'm the kind of theater goer where at this point, I don't want pantomime. I want to be trusted by the people that created the show to engage and participate. And I think that that is often where the most magical moments come from. Something I think that the practical illusions achieve is timelessness. You could do that wand sequence in Harry Potter 50 years ago, and it would have looked amazing. And you can do it 50 years from now, and it'll still be amazing because we are human beings that have emotions. And that is what's spectacular to me about movement and art and what it achieves. The Let It Go sequence almost dates itself immediately because it's shoehorned into the technology that exists right now on stage. In the biz, we say Broadway is 10 years behind major technological advancements because of the money. So 50 years ago, this effect would have been impossible. And in 50 years, there might be an entirely different way of achieving it. Maybe there are little drones that represent snow and they lift Elsa up. Like, who knows? And you know what? That's really cool. I would love to see that. I can't wait until we see drones on Broadway. There have been drones in stage shows across the world, and we have yet to see them on Broadway. And that is kind of what I'm talking about here, where I think we either need to be honoring the roots of the art form, or we need to be progressive in a way that is inspiring and looking towards the future. Because I'm not saying there's no room in theater for technology. Throughout history, when we're looking to be innovative, technology has a firm place in theater history. Think about microphones, sound, lighting design. The production of Phantom of the Opera didn't use any moving lights. Now there are some productions on Broadway that use only moving lights. Like, there are so many nuances into how technology can progress and move the art form forward if we're looking at it in a way that is towards advancement while honoring the roots, while trying to give audiences the best experience possible and challenging them and trusting them. But the more art can challenge us, the stronger we will be as a society, as independent thinkers, as creators, as humans that coexist. And it's up to you, because no matter what, you're going to be the one sitting in a room of 1,200 strangers, watching other strangers tell you a story that you know is fake, but you get to collectively and individually decide how real it is. And that's the beauty of live theater to me. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, follow, and I'll see you next time.